Hi, friends. This is focused on how to begin writing, how to begin publishing, how to begin distributing your books, and it's all based upon my personal experience. And when I share these videos, I think hard and long. I think, first of all, I won't know what to talk about. And then I think, what's people are doing a lot of right now? Well, they're self-publishing their own books. They're doing a lot of other things too. Um, I was just watching YouTube and all the ways that people tell you to start your YouTube program, and I realize I'm doing a weak job at this. I don't know how to make a thumbnail. I don't have a real camera. I don't have a real microphone. It's all in a $200 Dell computer. But what encourages me is the few people on YouTube that said, you start messy. You start messy, but you got to start. And you start failing upward and getting better and better and better. So I told myself, okay, tonight I'm going to do another one. I'm going to keep doing this 3 to 5 times, maybe 7 times a week. And if you want to be a subscriber with me, I need 1,000. And you're saying, why do you need 1,000? Because Google says you need 1,000 subscribers and 400 hours of views of people watching your channel for us to give you a penny. It's called monetizing. Now, I know I'm not doing anything good enough to ever reach that point at this time, and I want to be free flowing. I want to not have to write a script. I don't want to have to spend 4 hours setting up in the studio with the right lighting and the right table and the right background and all that. So only God knows if I'll ever get there. Takes about 6 to 7 years, just in case you're interested. It takes about 6 or 7 years. If you meet someone that says they're making a lot of money on YouTube and making a living from it, please ask them one question. When did you put your first YouTube video on? Now let's move on to the topic. Me sitting in front of on a bench with a bunch of drunks. This was in Louisville, Kentucky, in front of the Louisville Public Library. And this is where drunks met. There were regular seats around, those park seats, and or 4 or 5 people can sit down on them. So let me get some light on this here. You probably want to see me a little bit better there. Maybe maybe you're seeing me too much. Okay. Um, so I was a teenager, wanted to become a famous poet. About 14, 15, 16. I'd go to the library every Saturday, sit down with the drunks that were sitting on the park benches. We're talking about park benches here, the green or brown park benches. And all around the library outside. So I saw one of them writing stuff down in a spiral bound notebook. And the other two drunks were looking to see what he was writing. So I went over there. Of course, they had a paper bag. They all had a paper bag. I don't have an example of one now, but do you know what was in that bag? Different types of cheap alcohol and wine. I don't think beer was strong enough for them. They claim they made their living writing poetry. That's what grabbed me. I heard the word poetry mentioned when I was walking by them. They said, I like that poem there. One of the other drunks said, I like that poem there, that he saw that other guy writing on a spiral notebook. And I just went over and said, I want to be a poet too. Can you teach me? They said, well, absolutely. Sit down with us. In fact, we're going to share our drinks with you. I'll never forget this. They'll say sometime in the future, when you got a little money, if you don't mind bringing a sack with some cheap bourbon in it, or whiskey, or rum. One of them said they prefer rum, that we won't turn it down. So here comes my lesson on writing. Some of you think I'm making this up. If you do, put my name in Amazon. You can also put it in BarnesandNoble.com and booksamillion.com. They've got the last 4 books I put on there that I wrote a few years ago, but they don't have the ones that started back in 1969. Amazon has a much better list of all the books that I ever published. So here's these drunks teaching me how to write a book called, what was that first book? It wasn't I Believe in Love. That was the second book. It was When Twilight Begins. It was When Twilight Begins. I don't know if you can find that. If you did a Google search, you'll probably find it. If you write to me, I'll probably Xerox a copy of it and send it to you free. So we print 1,000. Well, they teach me how to write. They write like I could understand it. And they said, now when you go into the library, I want you to go to the library section with the poetry rolls and pick up each poetry book and see what you relate to. Some of it's going to be weird. Some's going to be abstract. Some's going to be easy to read, and you're going to say to yourself, I can write like that. He said, and when you get those books that you can relate to and say, I can write like that, take them home with you for a week until you come back the next Saturday. So I don't know, I may be taking home 6 books or 12 books. There was no limit at that time. I studied them. I cannot tell you one single poet's name because it's been so long, number one. And number two, it didn't matter. It didn't matter if I could understand what they were writing. Then I'd take them, sit down at the bench the next Saturday, talk to my professors, my alcoholic, high school dropout professors. Now, I'm not degrading them because they were making their living off of that. They didn't have to have a high school education to live off their poetry. Their poetry was raw and real and lifestyle, how life really was in their world. And they sent it to magazines with a self-addressed stamp envelope, and they get checks for up to $25 a poem, as low as $5 a poem. But when they're writing them out real fast and sending them to all these magazines, and there were a lot of them back then. We're talking about 1969, okay? That's when I put my first book out, 1969. That pretty much puts an age on me, doesn't it? But anyhow, we get together. They made their living that way. I wanted to make my living that way. So I borrowed the money, approximately $300, to print 1,000 copies of a 32-page book called When Twilight Begins. Sold those out. Got another 1,000 copies printed of a book called I Believe in Love. Sold those out. Then I decided to put out a book about every 8 or 9 months. Next book was called Touching You, Touching Me. You never know. I was listening to someone. They said you never know what kind of video might take off to the point where thousands of people will watch it when all your other ones only 35 people watched it. Well, when I came out with Touching You, Touching Me, I went through 7 printings. It's sold worldwide in English-speaking countries. And then I came out with a book called Loving You, another one called Thinking of You. I can't, like I say, this is stream of consciousness. It's not written down and scripted. I'm just giving you the basics of what happened. I'd fly to the colleges had asked me to visit and to read the poetry, and they would feed me, put me up, and maybe date someone at their college. I don't know if I need to get more into that or less into that. And so all that was going on in the 70s and 80s, late 60s. Remember 1969, first book. Then 70s, just skyrocketed. Just skyrocketed. The books I put out skyrocketed, mostly on beach towns, beach areas like California and Florida. Just tons of letters coming in from areas where there were beaches. Well, part of the reason was I wrote so much about the fun I had on beaches when I went. But it was over the country. I'll hear a town that a normal person won't hear about in a state, and I'll recognize it because I ship books there. I ship the books myself. I had a friend that helped me, maybe two friends that helped me ship if we were overburdened with orders and I couldn't do it myself. I tried to autograph every book. If an individual person ordered the book direct, I would always autograph it and write inscription in it, and even write them a letter. So that's how I got started in it. What was the most negative thing that happened? I will tell you, it was the selection of book printers. In fact, they weren't book printers. The first books were stapled. You know, the stapled back. And then I was selling them for $1 a piece, and then $1.95 a piece. And then I found a few printers that made it perfect bound to where you could read the title on the spine. Went up to $2.95. That's as high as the books ever went. Was $2.95. How'd I sell them? Yeah, I said I was going to tell how to distribute them. I got a list of independent bookstores. Now, the chain bookstores weren't there. There was not Barnes & Noble. There was not somewhere Walden's and B. Dalton booksellers came in, and Borders, and I got into them. But I would go to convention in New York City every year called the American Booksellers Association. It's now called the Book Expo America. New York City most of the time, sometimes Chicago, sometimes Atlanta. And I would meet sales reps that would carry independent publishers like myself and make a commission when they sold books. So we had coverage of Walden Books, and it climbed from about 300 up to close to 1,000 stores toward the end before they went bankrupt. We were selling to gift shops, selling to college stores. I used to call them college bookstores, but when they started selling everything, posters and T-shirts and all, it switched to college stores, independent gift shops, as well as the name brand ones like Gibson and Hallmark. Thought for sure I was going to make $1 million. Well, um, it was a good run. It was a good run. Around the time the Vietnam War ended, the book sales seemed to have dropped to the point where uh, I had to look for other employment, and I stopped writing and I stopped publishing. The last book was published in hardback in 1978. The title is Be Gentle with Your Goodbye. Isn't that a nice title? Be Gentle with Your Goodbye. It was signed and limited. I sold out, but I kept about 6 or 7 copies here at the house, unnumbered, for people who wanted to, that I might want to give one to later. Still got a few left. Okay, so I got disgusted with myself. 4 years ago, I started contacting everybody I knew that wrote poetry books and found one by the name of Gypsy Mercer. Gypsy Mercer, Mercer. She's on my Facebook. If you put her on, you'll probably see her. If you send her a message saying you know me and would like to be her friend and wish she'd consider it, she probably will. She really does screen people because of all that's going on with people asking for money and this, that, and the other. So we're working on another project. I'd be interested to know what your response is on this. And I know there's very few listening at this very second. I know it because how long I've gone and how much I have just gone off the deep end. Here's my thought. My thought is to print up a 20-page book of unpublished poetry and give it to anyone that wants one for free. I pay postage. I pay for printing. I send it to you free, autographed, with a special message. This is my newest plan of getting my feet wet again and finding people that want to read my stuff. I'll give away free books. This is my plan. Okay, no guarantee. This is my plan. If anyone writes that they think this is a good idea, you let me know. And then, along with that, I will probably include poems from my other 4 books that just came out recently in the last 4 years. That's not recently. And I'll put down how much they'll cost, which will be near half price plus postage. Right now, Amazon's done a deal to me. They've raised the prices some of the 4 books, and they've lowered the prices of some of the 4 books. I don't know what's going on, but I might make it a straight $5 plus postage per book. And some people are selling their poetry books for $20. I just ordered one the other day from a friend of mine, her 5th poetry book, for $20 plus $5 shipping. She probably will get the check today or tomorrow. No, I think I got an email saying she got it today. So I'd be interested in your thoughts on that. If you like poetry, and you can go to my Facebook page and read my poems on it. They'll be listed in the photograph section. You can read a few there. And if you think that would be a good idea to try to build up a list of people that would like to sort of follow me with what I write in the future, a free poetry book, and then if you choose to buy one for $5 plus post, they'll always be discounted. From then on, when someone buys direct from me, they automatically will be discounted with the price of any book they buy, and it will be autographed. Let me tell you why. Do you want to know why? Why I can do this? Number one, I don't need the money. We sold a lot of poetry books back then. We're talking about some printings were 5,000, some printings, one printing, the last printing was 12,000 copies of a book. I don't need the money. That's why I can give the books away if I want to go this route. I shouldn't even be talking this way, but oh well, might as well be real and spill my guts. So the price of the book will probably be around $5. Postage could be another, it's gone up, could be another $4 or $5. But if you buy the books on Amazon or any other place, there'll be at least $10 plus postage if you're not with Prime, Amazon Prime, which would be postage would be free. I'm trying this out. I just wanted your feedback on it. If you knew you were going to get a free autographed book, to see if the sample was something that you'd want to read more of, would you be interested in getting a free book? No strings attached if I send a book. I may never hear or see from you again, but it'll be a free book, autographed and inscribed. I'm only interested in people that like what I write. Okay, folks, this is about the end of the show. Here's the deal I'd like to offer right now. If you've made it this far and you like my style, if you want to hit you like it, that up sign, and if you want to hit subscribe, it would greatly help my spirits. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I'll be talking with you tomorrow or the next day.